What up? This is Kenner and Kenner. One part Jeremy.
I'm Brian.
Alright, so what we're going to talk about today is some of our favorite video games that we like that we don't see on anybody else's list. So you can put it as obscure, hidden gems, whatever you want to call it, but I never see anybody talk about these video games.
Well, each of these games got character. Each of these games got something that draws you in. So let's check out our list, starting at number 5.
Alright, the first game on our list is Last Bronx.
Last Bronx, Tokyo Bangaichi.
Now this is a fighting game developed by AM3, the same group that developed Virtua Fighter. And the thing I like about this game is it has all the character that the average Virtua Fighter game, to be honest, kind of lack. One of the things that I love about Virtua Fighter is the technical aspect of fighting. When you block, you block. There's a solid ability to defend and to attack in the games. And you have multiple ways of defending and attacking from every position. And that's the same thing you get from Last Bronx, except you got weapons added into it. The characters have a little bit more flair, a little bit more life, a lot more attitude.
And that's what Virtua Fighter is missing. Virtua Fighter is by far my favorite technical fighter ever made. It's better than Tekken. I don't care what nobody say. Me and Brian agree on that. It's way better than Tekken, man.
Yep.
And the problem is that Virtua Fighter has everything technical you want, but it has no character. The characters look bland. Even the sound is boring. Every character's outfit is kind of just lame and generic. But Last Bronx could have been a mix between Soul Calibur and Virtua Fighter.
It really was. And the thing I like about Last Bronx is you get this introduction into this world, this gritty, almost like it's a post-apocalyptic world.
I don't know if it was apocalyptic. It was more like just gritty downtown.
Well, it kind of was, because it was like Tokyo had like completely crashed. And it was run by all the gangs.
Oh yeah,
and, and people were getting experimented on, stuff like that. The game storyline, like any fighting game storyline,
don't make any sense.
Yeah, you can't. There's never going to be a good reason why 8 people will fight in a ring
in a tournament.
Yeah,
and I hate that. Like, you go to a fighting game, I'm fighting because my father is a chef and he wants to. What are you fighting for? Like, they don't make it anyway.
But anyway, fighting game storylines, we have a low expectation for that anyway. So everybody should have a low expectation for any fighting game storyline. Even if you get a good fighting game storyline, who cares? What you plan for is the gameplay and the way that the game makes you feel.
Yeah, and that's Last Bronx has some cool characters in it. It has some unique moves. The combo system was great. I wish they would have just kept going with it.
Some of the stuff was even unique weapons. They had that tri-section staff. I really like that. You don't see that in a whole lot of games. And just for y'all who don't know, a tri-section staff is like almost like a mix between a nunchuck and a staff.
It was some cool
It's just
stuff.
a cool weapon. And then some of the throws they had was really cool. It was just a really creative
Remember
game.
the girl who used to like put her leg on top of your head and then kick you?
Snap,
yeah, that was crazy.
Alright, so the next game on our list is going to be Dynomite Heady.
From regular Sega Genesis, right?
Yeah, that was regular Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
This is the 16-bit era. So what you have in this game is you have this platformer game. You play a character that's not like any other character in that he uses his head as a weapon.
I used to love watching this game. Just watching it. Man, it's an incredible game. The thing I loved about it was not only was the main character very creative, but the bad guys you fought in there was so funny and so creative. You would fight every level you would fight this cat with this angry face. I'll put it on screen for y'all. This thing was crazy. Just his face alone, he would come back with these different bodies.
Stank attitude every time. Every time. You never saw the cat come in with a stank, without a stank attitude.
He would transform his body, but his head would stay the same.
No, you gotta get this clip when the cat do this thing. Yeah, and then you do this attack.
Yeah.
Every time,
dude.
But the thing that's great about this game is this is one of those old school games. You almost wish the Mega Man franchise would have kept developing in this way in the 3D because they missed so much. Maybe that's gonna be one of our top 5.
Imagine if Mega Man was a 3D game that was epic, man.
What we got to do that top 5 franchises that messed up that we could fix.
It's gonna be like all top 5 is gonna be Capcom because Capcom just let me down.
They suck.
Never mind.
But getting beyond Capcom, Dynomite Heady is one of those games where even from the beginning, the way that the game is set, it's almost like you're going through a stage play. And I know that sounds weird,
it's a weird
but you're
game,
controlling this game, and it is a weird game.
Somebody was on LSD when they made this game. It don't make no sense.
They was on some kind of drug. They was on something. And the thing about it is, you control your character, and you can throw your head in 8 different directions.
You can throw your actual head, take it off, and throw it.
Yeah, so it's like you headbutting somebody, but the dude doesn't have a neck. It's like his head is literally floating above his body.
Kind of like me, but you know, a little bit more fun.
Not due to fat. What happens in this character is you fight all these really creative bosses. It's like the old school Treasure games always had good bosses, I felt. With this game, these bosses will come out of nowhere and they all had different challenges. When you fought a really big boss, you had another character that will come alongside you that will point out the weaknesses of that boss. Silouhette Mirage platformer debuted on the PlayStation.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, no, it didn't. It debuted on the Sega Saturn first.
Oh, yeah.
And then actually, it was brought on the Sega Saturn, but it was at the end of the life of the Sega Saturn, and it went over to the PlayStation.
A very short lifespan.
Dude, but the Sega Saturn's still one of my favorites.
It has some original games. Like this game is super original.
I'm gonna say this: the Sega Saturn and this game really brings that, and Grandia does too, even though it's not on our list. And that was an old Saturn game too. But Saturn had these games where you felt like the game was made just for you. Like you felt like when the characters made a joke that it was you were in on that joke. Like it was some kind of personal connection.
So much more character than the games today. Like the games of today are almost going the same way that movies are going.
Yeah.
Where they want to please everybody instead of...
You know what Sega Saturn was like? Sega Saturn was like that guy that you can't describe why he's funny, but he's funny. You know him, he's a quirky kind of funny.
Goofy?
Whereas games, but games nowadays they try too hard to
they try to be AAA.
They put cutie in and they put in
it's not, they don't got no, they you can tell they cutting off the fat, and it's like, if you just stay true to your characters, which is why a lot of these indie games are being funded the way they are on these websites,
because they was made the way
because they was made, and they don't go through the filter of everybody saying that's not gonna work and this is not gonna work. Just make a game and have it be fun.
But let's describe the premise of this game and why you should like this game, and why if you don't like this game, you literally don't have any taste. So basically,
well, if you're gonna be that blunt,
well, just trying to be subtle with you guys. So you have this character who
you don't like it, you suck.
So you in this universe where everything is split between the Silhouette and the Mirage. I forget which one is which, but one is red and one is blue. The red is more associated with the mental, the blue is more associated with the physical. And if you want to attack the enemies, you have to use either your red side to attack the blue or your blue side to attack the red. It just so happens that if you're doing like traditional platformer and you're going from left to right, your character is red. And if you're going from left to right, from right to left, your character looks blue. You can also switch sides if you want to.
It's kind of hard to explain. You gotta just play it, you know.
But when you play this game, what you have is you have this girl that you're playing with who literally shoots bullets that are different colors depending on what side of the screen she's facing. And it's cool because as you fight enemies, they are either red or they are blue. And it changes what side of the screen you want to be on. It changes what kind of approach you want to make. When you fight enemies, you can basically jack them up for their money and buy more powerful versions of the same weapons.
I like the enemies in the game too. Like they got so much character. Every one of the games we putting on this list
got character.
Got character. Like
that's the thing.
They fight this guy. Remember the rich guy who was like, what did he kept saying?
I needs a little more meat sauce. Yeah.
Needs a little more meat sauce.
Yeah, he's just a great character. And
nowadays, if you say that, it'll be gay.
As you fight through this game, these bosses that attack you, they're very creative. one of my most favorite characters in video games, actually the enemy in that game, the knight who is like you but changes colors.
Oh yeah.
So when he changes colors, he actually changes from being boy to girl too.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Which that would actually fit in with our SJW crowd out there. They love that.
They would love that. They would buy the game just for that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, on to our next game, Guardian Heroes. Ooh, this is on my list. And I mention this game every time that anybody asks me what's a game I've never played that's really, really good. This game is a side-scroll beat-em-up with RPG elements. It's just, man, and you can pick your path. Well, hence the RPG, some of the RPG elements. But you can basically, it's like got 10 different endings.
Well, to be honest, I have not played a game that lets you pick your path to this degree.
Yeah.
Because in this game, let's just talk about the storyline a little bit first.
Because
when you play through the story, not to spoil the story, and then it's not really spoiling it, because it's not the kind of story that can be spoiled.
I don't know if anybody gonna go back and maybe somebody.
Maybe you, if you do, well,
if you get a chance to play it, play it.
Yeah, or get in the game any way you can. Because here's what happens: is as you play the game, you get to make choices about where you're gonna go. For example, there's a choice between going to the forest, the town, or the city, and it changes what bosses you fight. It changes how hard the enemies are, etc. At the end of every level, your character is leveling up by beating up monsters, so you get to add stat points to your character.
And you got a different, all types of different characters you can choose to be. You got like the magician little boy with the staff that looks like, you know, he's like hurting.
He's not even a soul. And the thing about it is, you got 6 heroes you can choose from, right? Because you got 6 heroes you can choose from, and they go from the full range of almost all magic to almost all fighting. But in this game, you can use all these skills. Now it's on the Sega Saturn, and I think in this degree, I think the Sega Saturn controller, in some ways, it had advantages over the PlayStation one because you had 6 buttons on the front of the controller.
I just didn't like it was gigantic, round, and looked like a spaceship.
Not all of them were like that.
Oh,
the
yeah,
little
some
one
of them
was it fitting right in your hands. The thing I liked about this game was, you could use your magic, you use your fighting, but then you could also use like quarter rolls and things like that. Like you know when you play
Street Fighter movements,
and you do a quarter circle this way or quarter circle that way, you do different moves. The same with this game. The fighting system was as technical as a fighting game, which is a whole nother mode that we'll kind of talk about a little bit. But as you fight through this game, one of the cool things is you have all these moves to choose through, but they add a different dimension where you're fighting on a 2D plane, but you could change levels of how into the screen you are. So for example,
you can jump from level to level. You start up here, you can jump back here, then you can jump back here.
So you jump in from the foreground to the background of the stage that you're in.
You can use that to dodge people's attacks.
But attacks could have such a range that they could affect multiple
planes,
you're on. So you could have that. You could shoot a magic that can go from your plane to another one. It's a very fun game.
You can level up your character. And my favorite character is the dude, the skeleton warrior.
Yes.
Who used to be like, just scream and explode.
The cool thing about him is every character had a gimmick too. He couldn't block.
Yep, he couldn't block, but he was so crazy he didn't have to.
Yep.
That's
the thing. That's the example of a game that has so much character that a character that can't even talk has personality.
Yep.
He can't even talk in that game. Here's the thing too about that game is it has such a wide range of characters. So you got your 6 heroes, you got your skeleton guy. Then on top of that, you got all these bad guys. You got the prince who's
the muscle heads that would do push-ups.
Some of the bad guys fight each other. You got the knights. The knights, they were in different orders of knights, so they had different colors. You got the blue knights, the red knights, the black knights,
the white knights that protect women.
You had the king. You had what was his name? What's his name? Xanon?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Wait, no, that was a wizard, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love him too.
Okay.
But the thing about it is that added to me, why this is one of the top games is when you played the fighting mode. And you could put 6 controllers in.
That
you
was
could fight
crazy.
with your friends and have a 6-man melee battle.
That was crazy, son. Dude, that was
any
fun,
of the characters
man.
that you had beat in the game. So as long as you beat a character, it was unlocking them in that versus mode.
And our final game will be
Dark Savior.
Dark Savior is a I love this game.
This is another one on the Sega Saturn.
This is the weirdest game. This is the weirdest thing to me because I've never had an RPG where I've hated the combat but still loved the game.
This one is a different one because as you play through this game, it's a unique part about this game that makes this way different than any other game. I do have to give it to the character. When you first play this game, you really don't know what you're doing, and it's almost like a puzzle game in a lot of ways because as you go through, you start this game and you start on this big old ship, and you're a bounty hunter transporting this monster to this island where the monster is supposed to be frozen because of all the crimes the monster has committed.
Cool concept already.
And as you are transporting this monster, the monster breaks out. And so when you first play the game, you just notice this timer at the bottom corner of your screen. You don't know what it means. It starts off blue, then goes yellow, then goes red. And as the time goes by, you're not knowing how to play the game, and you get to the room where the beast was, and he broke out of it, and he's fighting the captain, and he kills the captain, and you look at the time, it's in the red. You don't know what that means.
You assume it's bad.
You assume it's bad, and you get there, and the monster has killed the captain and is escaping to the island. And this monster's name is Billion. One of the things I want to say is, I don't care what kind of game you done play. You could play Resident Evil, you could play anything. There's very few horror monsters that stack up to Billion.
Yeah. This thing was ruthless. It was killing everybody. Like in The Simpsons when it said, it ate everyone.
You mean it ate Patrick too?
It ate everybody.
What about Erica?
It ate everybody, stupid!
It didn't really eat him, it just killed him.
Yeah.
But it was, man, this thing was on a rampage.
And the thing that I like about it is you go to this island, you go to this, they call it, I think it's called Jailer's Island. And you're on this island, and this monster is killing everybody, and you're trying to ally with this warden to get this monster under control as he literally wreaks havoc on this whole island. You're going through different puzzles, you're trying to stop it. It's pursuing these chemicals that you don't understand.
And you finding more lore out about the island.
About the world. You finding all about stuff. And this warden is trying to help you. And you get to the end and you have to kill this monster. And you sit there, and I'm telling you, as you play through this game, the character of the game, the universe that you're in, it has so much character in it. And you sit there at the end of the game, you're like, man, it's a great game. I wish I could play it again. So then you start again, you play it through. That's what we did. We just played it through. And we got
better at the first part, and we got faster at completing the puzzle
at the beginning of the game.
Beginning of the game.
You get to the captain's cabinet, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, this is not how it was when I first played the game. You get to the cabinet at the same time the monster does. You fight the guy who you fought as the final boss at the very beginning of the game. And you kill him, and then you realize, oh man, am I playing a whole new game?
It's a whole different game.
And that's where you get, literally, you are using the same world, same characters, whole new world. Scenario 2 is completely different.
And the reason why the scenarios are so cool is because it's all based on how much time it takes you to complete the first puzzle. So if you complete it faster, that means he gets there before the monster kills everybody. If you complete it slower, you get there after the monster kills everybody. If you get there too fast, different things happen. So it's It's
Yeah.
a great
As you
concept. I've
get-
never seen this concept done before.
No, and
It
the thing
is
about it, if it's
crazy.
been done, it's copying this game.
It's
I'm telling
copying
you,
this
if you've seen
game,
it in
man.
some other game, it copied it from this
I've
game.
never seen a game do
And what
this.
happens is, as you go through the second scenario, you've already killed the monster. You may ask yourself, what's the point? But when you get to the island, you start to realize the warden that you thought was your friend in the first scenario, he's just trying to cover up all the dirt he did. Why? That's why he was trying to help you so much in the
man.
first scenario.
Yep.
He's not a good dude.
Yeah.
And so as you go through the second scenario, now you realizing all this dirt he has, you're uncovering his dirt, and it's
Yep.
almost like he's the main villain.
Yeah, he's the bad guy in that one.
So then the game, you explore the game, you go through different things that you never explored. The game's puzzles are a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Even areas that you've gone to before in the first scenario, they're not the same. It's almost as if the game kind of tweak things around and make it more interesting for you. So then you go through and you beat that. You're like, man, it'd be nice if there's a third scenario, and there is. So this third scenario, you get to the captain's cabin of the ship before the monster does. He is going to. The monster just gets off the ship and goes to the island like in the first scenario.
Yeah.
You go to the island as if it's the second scenario, and now you got this big old chaos where it starts to explore basically reality itself.
Yeah.
How your little decisions that you make in life can change
Everything.
everything. People
It's
who
such
live
a
and die.
It's such a good game.
It's one of those things that just make you think like, dude, if I met a different person, if I was at this place 2 minutes longer, if I would have met this person and not met that
The
person.
fact that a game like that can go that deep into like human psyche and make you question these things.
Any game that makes
it's
you
a
think
great-
about your life is a
Yep,
good game.
yep. And it's very rare that a game has done that.
One of the instances, one of the most famous instances of me that I felt like that when I played a game was on Metal Gear Solid. I was playing a game for a long time, and all of a sudden the game just said, "You playing a little too long, ain't you?" I was like, dude, is there a demon in this game? But like, it's instances like that where it shocks you to the point where the game makes that connection with you. It's that realistic. It's that real that it makes you think about something more than just playing a game.
And nobody has this game on a list. Nobody has put this game in a top 10. And because of I think it's because of the fighting mechanic. It's not the best.
The fighting
fighter.
system is not a good system.
Yeah, it ain't a. Yeah, it's not.
If you if we remake this game, the fighting system would not.
I will buy. If I had money, I would buy the rights to this game and have it remade and redo the fighting system so it's turn based. You know, and I would, but keep the story the same. The characters, man. Why have people not done this yet? But basically, that's our list. We gonna come with another top 5. All right, so that's our top 5 obscure hidden gem video games that you will not see on anybody else's list. If you see it on somebody else's list, they copying us.
Every one of these games got characters, so please check them out.
Check them out. All right, peace, y'all.